Welcome to Union County. I'm Fred Keller, representing Pennsylvania's 85th Legislative District, which includes parts of Union and Snyder counties. Thank you to everyone for attending today's event, and a special thank you to Pickright for hosting our venue. We also are joined by many of my fellow representatives. From Northumberland County, we have Representatives Lynda Culver and Kurt Mosser. From Schuylkill County, we have Representatives Mike Tobash and Jerry Knowles. From Lycoming County, we have Representative Jeff Wieland. And from Center County, our Policy Committee Chairman, Representative Kerry Benninghoff. The purpose of today's meeting is to expose the truth about Governor Wolf's plans for Pennsylvania versus the budget he vetoed on June 30th. Last year, candidate Tom Wolf promised a fresh start for Pennsylvania. His actions surrounding the Wolf budget impasse are clearly sending a different message. Governor Wolf and his Washington, D.C. sidekicks have engaged in a campaign to convince Pennsylvanians the budget passed by the General Assembly wouldn't adequately fund our Commonwealth. The truth is, the no tax increase budget passed on June 30th and promptly vetoed by Governor Wolf increased general fund spending 3.6% over last year and included another record investment of state dollars in K-12 education. A 3.5% increase to $10.6 billion. Governor Wolf believes there is support for his massive tax increases across all income levels of Pennsylvanians. The June 1st vote, taken in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, a unanimous 193-0 rejection of Governor Wolf's tax increases, demonstrates that even Democrats don't support having their pockets picked or their paychecks cut by Governor Wolf. Tom Wolf and his Washington, D.C. cronies are out of touch with how the Wolf expansion of state government will harm Pennsylvanians. It will rob their ability to determine how their paychecks are spent. The Wolf regime is spreading misinformation, vastly underestimating the intelligence of Pennsylvania's citizens. Tom Wolf wants more money, and he's coming after all Pennsylvanians to get it. People like these gathered here today. People like the ones that work in this building every day. People that work in factories, in businesses, and on farms across this Commonwealth. We stand united with the citizens of Pennsylvania in telling Governor Wolf and his Washington, D.C. cohorts, don't cut our pay, don't raise taxes. Governor Wolf, are you a workhorse or are you a show horse? It's time to get out of the Jeep, stop campaigning, and get to work. My colleagues will now explain the repercussions of Governor Wolf's veto that created the Tom Wolf government shutdown. Thank you. Now we're going to hear from our next speaker, which is Representative Lynda Culver.
Good afternoon. I stand here today with my colleagues to talk about the budget impact, or the budget impasse, and the impacts to you, the tax-paying citizen. As representatives for the people, we take our jobs very seriously. The word represent has great meaning to each and every one of us. Even though we hold a different elected position than the governor, we represent the same people. By representing the people who elected us, we become their voice in Harrisburg. We have a job to do, and that is to listen to our constituents and try to the best of our ability to make the right decisions for the whole district. We sent a budget passed by both chambers of the legislature to the governor on June 30th, and the governor promptly vetoed the entire budget, claiming he wanted his decision on the budget to have the least amount of impact on the citizens of the Commonwealth. He vetoed it with not as much as a passing thought, even though we agreed with or gave more funding for 274 line items out of 401. We did listen to the governor. We did the best of our ability with the money we had available. And instead of signing the budget and blue lining what he didn't like, he decided to put the Commonwealth in crisis and impose the most impact on its citizens. As you know, when you pay your own bills and run your own household budgets, there are times you cannot have the wish list. You have to work towards it, you have to save for it. And you do not have the ability to go to your neighbors and reach into their pockets. I know there's been some concern expressed about the lack of a budget, but I'm here to tell you we are entering into a very dangerous situation for the residents of this Commonwealth. We have been meeting with our county commissioners and various county agencies to discuss what this budget impasse means to them. If this impasse continues, we may see county employees' hours cut, or they may even be laid off. They're not filling vacancies already, and they are quickly becoming short-staffed. This will result in longer wait times for services, therapies, investigations, and counseling for children, the intellectual and physically disabled, and our seniors. Transportation in a rural county is limited at best, and this could cause even further cutbacks, limiting a person's ability to get to the store for groceries, fill prescriptions, or maybe even get to their physician. Some agencies have had to start a waiting list for services. The senior who needs help bathing, nursing care, or meals, they can't wait. And as one family whose mother was recently diagnosed with terminal cancer and sought out services said to me, cancer doesn't wait for anyone, yet they are on a waiting list for services. These are real impacts to real people of all walks of life. Shortly after Labor Day, all of our agencies have said they will be out of money, and if they haven't already begun to take money out of the county's general fund, they will soon be, adding stress to already tight budgets and forcing our counties to take out lines of credit. With all due respect, Governor Wolf, I am asking you to look my constituents in the eye and tell them that you feel they gave you a mandate to raise our taxes. Have you left your office, as I have, and every day have someone roll down their window and yell out to you, "You can't raise my taxes"? People stopping you at the grocery store, the pharmacy, pumping gas, and asking you not to raise their taxes. Seniors writing you, calling you, or stopping by your office to tell you that they can't afford any more taxes, that this is it, their pockets are empty, and if we ask any more of them, they will have to leave their homes. These are seniors who don't drive new cars, go on fancy trips, and live more frugal than any of us can probably imagine. How do we look them in the eye and ask them for more? I was recently approached by a few new residents who moved into the area from out of state, and they were astounded at not only the amount of taxes they pay here, but the many different kinds of taxes they pay here. If you look on the internet, Forbes has ranked our state 10th for the worst states for taxes. Yet the governor's proposed tax increase is more than the other 49 states combined proposed taxes. You see, we are one of the people. We are not insulated or shrouded by special interest groups. We are here every day walking the same walk as our constituents. We need the governor to stop and listen, truly listen to our constituents. They want to be heard. They have spoken and have been loud and clear. They do not want a tax increase. So Governor Wolf, I'm asking you to come to the table and do what's best for all Pennsylvanians. We were elected by many of the same people in the same election. This is not about Republican or Democrat. This is not a game, and this is not about winning. This is about real people and their daily lives, and we have a commitment to do what is right by them. So Governor Wolf, please don't ask me to betray the very people who put their trust in me and elected me to represent them, because I can guarantee you I will choose them every time. Thank you. And now we're going to hear from Mike Tobash, who represents Schuylkill and Dauphin counties.
I was supposed to introduce Representative Kurt Mosser.
You did good. I too want to thank Fred and everyone here who came out to this event. It's your pockets, it's your families that are going to be affected by this budget, just as ours are, and we appreciate your time here. Now, during the governor's budget address, he talked about jobs that pay, schools that teach, and government that works. I know both sides of the aisle can agree we all want those things, but he left out one fundamental part of his plan: taxpayers that pay, and pay, and pay. From the cradle to the grave, taxpayers will be paying more, lots more, under his proposal. His ads basically tout that if we tax the big bad oil and gas companies, we can solve the Commonwealth's problems. What he doesn't say is out of all the new tax increases, 3 cents of every new dollar would be from the Marcellus shale industry. The other 97 cents will be paid by you and I and our small businesses. He states we are the only gas-producing state in the nation without a severance tax. It's important to remember what he doesn't say. We are the only state in the nation with an impact fee that keeps the majority of the money in the areas that are most affected by the industry. Let's make sure we do have a fair tax. But to do that, we need to look at all the taxes when we compare ourselves to other states. Look at the total tax burden for the industry and compare apples to apples. before we diminish an industry that is one of the few that has recently created thousands of jobs that pay. Again, that building is filled with folks who are supporting their families with jobs that pay from an industry the governor wants to diminish. He states that we need to restore the billion-dollar cut to education. He makes it sound as if we are drastically shortchanging our public schools. What doesn't he say? He doesn't say that the $1 billion that went away in the education line items was federal stimulus money. It was money every school district knew was going away. We all want to provide the dollars necessary to provide for the best education possible for our children. But let's have an open and honest discussion about how much that is. Our budget dedicated $10.6 billion for public education, a new record high for the Commonwealth. The governor proposed an increase to education of $500 million compared to our $100 million increase. What he doesn't tell you is that 32% of that new funding he proposed would go to the Philadelphia schools, while the other 499 school districts would split the other 68%. We are 10th in the nation in total funding per student, nearly $3,000 per student above the national average. We all want schools that teach, but let's have an honest, open discussion on how we get there. The governor's proposed tax increases are higher than the other 49 states combined. Simply put, the governor's budget plan doesn't fight for the middle class, it doesn't lower taxes, and it doesn't fairly distribute more funding to our schools. Pennsylvanians want a government that lives within their means and isn't always looking to reach into their pockets so that government can spend more. Let's start having open and honest discussions. Telling the truth leads to a government that works. Thank you.